Hi, this is Sir Ken Shelley from Adios, Fatso. Thank you for tuning in to the 10 Minutes with Boston Chris podcast.
Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of the 10 Minutes with Boston Chris podcast brought to you by the Boston Chris Show. And today we have a humongous treat for everybody out there in keeping with the all genres and all styles and all forms of entertainment aspect to this show. Today we will be talking to my buddy and DFW rap and hip hop icon, Big B, aka Mr. Rain, aka Salazar Skurlock, and we're excited to talk to him about so many different things about his career, his writing, his music, and everything else that Big B has going on. Unfortunately, the sound is not the greatest in this episode, but that's okay, because in the future, Big B and I will be sitting down IRL for a in real life interview, hopefully by the end of the year, where we can kind of rehash some of the topics in this episode and talk about even more things as well. But let me tell you a little bit about Big B. Big B, aka Mr. Rain, aka Salazar Skurlock, is currently located in Dallas and has a long career within music in so many different roles. From rapper to hip-hop artist, songwriter to jingle writer, ghostwriter to producer, father, husband, bail bondsman, you will not find a more humble, kind, and inspirational human being. We are so stoked to bring to you this amazing episode with the one and only Mr. Big B. Y'all check it out. Hey guys, welcome to another fabulous episode of the 10 Minutes with Boston Chris podcast, brought to you by the Boston Chris Show. And guys, we have a huge treat today. Dallas hip hop and rap legend, Mr. Big B, aka Mr. Rain, aka Salazar Skurlock. We're going to call him B today. He's graciously come on the show. We're going to talk about his career, his life, his positivity, his content. I'm so stoked to talk to you today. Thank you for your time and effort in putting this together, my man.
I appreciate you having me, man. I'm happy to be here. Heard a lot about the show. And that's my time in the hot seat, and I'm ready. So thank you for
I'm
having me.
loving it, man. We've been friends for a while, never met in person, but we share a lot of the same viewpoints on the world and stuff like that. So I've always wanted to get you in the hot seat, so to speak. Let's break the ice a little bit just to start off. What's your favorite drinks right now, man? What are you drinking?
What do you mean, alcohol? What do you
Just
mean, soft
anything, man.
drinks?
Yeah, either way.
You talking about different nectars? What are we talking about here?
Whatever you go, well, whatever your go-tos are, man.
Oh, my favorite drink. Laying off the soda right now. I'm kind of drinking nothing.
Name off some sodas, he said.
No. I'm laying off the sodas right now.
Yeah.
I do drink soda. I like Mountain Dew. You know, people look at me crazy when I say that. I like Mountain Dew. I like coffee. Uh, a favorite drink. That's about it. Root beer is probably my
So,
favorite soda right now.
caffeinated beverages are important to you then, huh?
Not necessarily. I just didn't think you need to hear about my favorite water or my favorite my favorite punch or what have you. Or beer. I'm not a real big alcohol fan, so can't rattle off a lot of different alcoholic beverages that I like to partake in. So I just went straight to soda for some reason. That's weird.
Right. No, that's not
And I'm
weird
not
at
even
all, man.
I'm not even a soda advocate.
Yeah, I'm into kind of zero sugar soda at times, but right now I'm drinking something called what is this? Clear American Cherry Limeade. Looks like that right there. Zero sugar. It's pretty dope. I like it.
It's a soda though, carbonated
Yeah,
soda.
I get it at Walmart. It has nothing in it, no calories, nothing, man. It's pretty nice. This is my first time trying it too, so I'm liking it.
Is it kind of sweet though still with
It's not too
uh,
bad, yeah. And they have like a lot of different like fruity kind of flavors, like black cherry and tangerine, like stuff you wouldn't find in other soda brands. Um,
okay, cool. I'll have to
yeah,
check that out.
yeah, for sure, man. It's called Clear American. But anyway, let's start with the music, man. At an early age, you got into the music world, and I'd love to hear what some of your first musical memories were like, kind of where your musical journey began as a youngster.
Man, I would say probably third or fourth grade. By the time I got into school and got used to like, okay, this is where I'm gonna have to keep having to go. I started getting into school a little bit more, you know what I mean? So that's when they introduced us to talent shows. And talent shows was really my first uh, interaction with a stage.
Mm-hmm.
Interaction with a stage became okay. I entered talent show after talent show in my school. Me and my partner Reggie would enter talent shows. We would do EPMD. We would do Public Enemy. We would imitate whoever. We would always win. Third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and we did so many talent shows and won so many talent shows that it wasn't even interesting anymore. And we were rapping other people's songs so effortlessly and with so much style and charisma. They were like, I can do this. So I started trying to write my first rap probably around junior high,
Wow.
uh, seventh, eighth grade or something like that. Down in Pittsburg, that was a far fetched thing to even attempting at that point in time. But there was another rapper in school, a classmate of mine named Llewellyn Carrington. He was the only guy that I knew that was really that serious about hip hop before I was. He was a little guy that was in the breezeway before school, just rocking the crowd. This was before I was rapping, and he'd be out there in seventh grade, 7:47 in the morning a.m. You know what I mean? And you
Mm-hmm.
got a whole cycle in junior high. You know what I mean? So I just and I would rap with him, off to the side by myself. We would trade verses or whatever. But I never had the heart to get in the middle of a cipher in the crowd like he did in junior high.
Right.
He had it going on. People knew him for rap. People didn't know me for rap at that point. I was more of a visual. I drew and um, wrote permission slips for kids that didn't come to school yesterday type of stuff. That was my kind of my hustle at the time, because I had great penmanship, So he he inspired me a lot. R.I.P. MC Bud, Llewellyn, man. But yeah, seventh grade, that's when I really started trying to, put pen to paper and come up with my own, songs.
So it kind of started out as kind of a social experiment kind of thing, just something to do with your friends, your buddies, and just kind of morphed into more seriousness because of
Definitely.
probably just your passion for it. I imagine probably led you down that path. Um,
It definitely did.
yeah. So you've been part of the East Texas music scene for a while, and typically speaking, in my experience, I've been here for about 25 years now, but the
Mhm.
area is definitely a hotbed for country music. Everybody knows
Oh,
that from around here, but man, the
yeah,
entire
they love
state
it.
is also so filled with talent from all genres. And man, I don't want to throw your age under the bus, but you are kind of the elder statesman around here for rap and
I
hip hop.
appreciate that, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. I don't take that position lightly, A lot of people would let me know that, a lot of the rappers that are down there doing their thing right now, let me know, like, man, you know what? When I heard you do it, B, I knew I could do it. But when I
hmm
seen you up there on that show that night, my sister then went to your concert. I couldn't go because I was too young. I knew they give me my flowers. And
right,
so I don't shy away from that at all. East Texas is so full of talent, man, and it's been that
no,
way for a long time.
for sure.
I think when you see somebody do something that you've dreamed of doing, it makes the dream a little bit more tangible, a little bit more reachable, a little bit more attainable, and you want to like, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can still do this. Because I'm telling you, the way that they're doing it right now, you know what I mean? The way the music game is right now compared to the way it was when we were independent out there is a whole different ballgame.
Right.
Uh, I don't know that the game would be as saturated as it is right now if people had to actually go through the steps that we had to go through to get our music into the hands of our consumer, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, absolutely. I wanted to kind of hear from you though. What in your opinion do you feel needs to change, not just locally but regionally across Texas, for local hip hop artists and rappers to kind of rise above that country music saturation? Like, how do we get noticed around here in other genres? Basically, what's your experience?
Uh, you mean how does hip hop get noticed in the genres, or how does
Yeah,
many
what
genres?
needs to happen for it to become more accepted, more seen in this area?
Well, I think someone needs to take it to a international level. Uh, and these times, it's sad to say, someone needs to go violent for
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? Because East Texas is not a place that the local music um, success train stops through. You know what I mean? It barely even stops through the DFW,
Right.
if you want to be honest. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So East Texas is playing a strong background to the DFW, who I think is not even seeing their proper representation on a national scale or international scale in the music game itself. But that's what it's going to take. It's going to take someone just being finally noticed, because it's not about the talent, like you said earlier. The talent is there. It's more about just why aren't the majors looking here, or why aren't the people that are doing the major endorsements or big placements for movies and commercials looking here? The agencies need to tap in here, because it's honestly, I think East Texas could be. I'm gonna say Northeast Texas completely, and
Right,
North
because
Texas.
Houston's got that. Like, Houston's already kind of branched out. It's definitely a Northeast Texas thing, I feel.
Yeah, Houston's been bubbling for You should have been bubbling for a while. But
Yeah.
if North Texas can finally get their foot in the door, I don't see it being no different than the Atlanta explosion. No Diddy. I don't see it being any different than the Atlanta explosion down there. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much talent here. Once you pick at it enough and it starts to leak water, it's gonna just explode. You're gonna have group after group, singer after singer, writer after writer, artist after artist, rapper after rapper, musician after musician, comedian after comedian, because it's all right here in North
Mhm.
Texas, but they don't know about it.
Do you feel like competition kind of holds people back too? You talked about oversaturation. There is a lot of talent. There's a lot of artists as well, and because of the advent of social media and other tools like that, everybody's a rapper. Everybody's an artist. Do you
You
feel
know,
like that competition is pulling people apart? Whereas, really, if people started tugging on the same side of the rope, maybe success would come easier for folks.
um, I don't know that competition is what's holding them back as much as it is jealousy.
Okay.
Because any game is going to always have friendly competition. Always, I welcome competition. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because I think it's properly time. You know what I mean? So, uh, you can get out here and run a 100-yard dash in 10 seconds flat. When you're running it by yourself, but if you put somebody beside you and that's racing you, you might do a 9.1.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So competition, I think, is a good thing. But the jealousy, don't play his record. Don't get on that song with him. Don't book him at that show right there. I heard this about him. The backbiting or things like that. The jealousy in itself is what holds the people back more so than the competition. Because competition is great. There's so much talent. You can't help but be competitive here.
Yeah, I
You
think
know,
if people would learn to just build each other up, man, I think we can find more avenues to success, not just in this area, but any area that's having trouble being seen and heard. Like
we could. We actually could, man. Just tie in together and plug me. I plug me. I never had any problem passing information off to anybody that asked me anything about the game. I always
right.
had a motto: if you're not going to help me, just don't hurt me. I don't care if you don't help me, but don't hurt me either. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If you want to stay there, that's fine. You got people that still just for whatever reason don't want to see you do this, or don't want to give you the proper credit that you deserve.
That's right.
For things. I've had people even try to steal music from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What's the crazy? This is crazy,
man, it's okay to share the shine, right?
man. It is. It
So
is.
tell me, man, tell me what type of songwriter are you? Is it more random for you, or does it like can you schedule writing sessions, or like is it a combination of both for that, or like what kind of conduit are you when it comes to writing songs?
Well, me, the way I like to write, it's always the best when it's in sync. I don't like to sit down and force writing. Because I'm never quite really happy with what I come up with. Even though somebody else might love it, deep down inside of me, it's like, it's
Yeah.
okay. But I like to be inspired to write, and I don't really have writing sessions because I'm a solo writer. I've written with people before, but I'm a solo artist, so I can be driving and a chorus to come through my mind, and I have to go through the glove compartment, find a receipt from Sonic or anything to write the chorus down on. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Boom, until I get home, and then I might put it in my nightstand drawer for 2 weeks. Then I go back to that chorus and write a whole song. Some days I write and finish a verse. Some days I sit down and write and can't come up with anything but a chorus. Some days I don't come up with anything at all, and then there's other days that I sit down and write a complete song before I even get up. period. You know what I mean? From start to finish. Now that only happened with me throughout my career probably 4 or 5 times. Me sitting down and when I put the ink to the pad and when I take the ink away from it, a song is finished. That's a difficult thing for me to do. I hear people
Mm-hmm.
talk about doing it. I think they're doing it in a different genre. If you get my drift, because
Mm-hmm.
I do hip hop. I write all genres. Let me put that. But in writing hip hop, I'm sure you know what a 16 is
Yeah.
and what it consists of. A verse. You know what I mean? The content that's in a 16, a rap song is basically made up of 3/16s for people that don't know. Well, it used to be. Now they're getting by with 2/16s. But a standard rap song is 3/16 bar verses. I can take one 16 bar verse of mine or any rapper, and there's enough content in that one verse to break down 4 R&B songs almost. When
Yeah.
it comes to the amount of writing you to put in a verse versus hip hop to any other genre. I love my so and so. I feel all right. That right there, I can like, come on. But I say that to say this: I've written a lot of records, a lot of content through hip hop, and it taught me how to write other genres
Does
because I
that
write.
does that formula change if you're mixing genres? Like if you have some R&B within your hip hop, like if you're mixing it, does the formula change?
It doesn't. Not for me. It doesn't. It just makes it easier. It's
Yeah.
like you start out with the hardest tool in the tool shed, which is hip hop. And I started out with hip hop, and now every other genre that you're writing with, I just like, this is kind of simple. The thinking is not really as in depth as I have to do with it. And people might, and it's ironic that a lot of people view hip hop as a subculture that is not very welcoming to certain parts of America. If you follow my drift, and
Yeah.
like it's a lower bracket type of art form, a ghetto type of art form. But if you are into it and you really know about it, you see complexity shines probably any other genre of music ever created
Hmm.
lyrically. You know what I mean? It's like you have to be a very good writer to be a very good hip hop.
Right.
Okay writer and be George Strait though. And I love George Strait by the way, but I'm just using him as an
Well,
example.
George
You know what I
Strait is
mean?
not a writer. He's not a writer at
Is he
all.
not? Oh
No,
wow.
no,
Well,
absolutely
how,
not.
what me up talking right for it means?
Yeah, George Strait is essentially, man, I'm going to get some hate for this, but he's essentially a karaoke singer, really. Yeah.
Oh man, he
Yeah.
George Strait doesn't have any exes in Texas. Is that what you telling me?
No, he didn't write that song. No,
Oh well,
he didn't write that song.
he's not
So,
surprising at all to me.
yeah. So for you, the process is it typically starts with like lyrically. It starts for you lyrically most of the time, or can you like, or can you be presented with a beat or something like that, and then lyrically you kind of the lyrics just kind of flow in that way as well.
Well, when I started rap, to backtrack again, if I talk too much, just stop me.
No,
Hey
please,
man, why not?
I want more talk, please. Yes.
Because I can get real long winded. Okay, I started rapping in the Pine Woods of East Texas, is where I got my start in. And so where I was, I had never seen a producer, I had never been to a studio, I had no beat custom made for me to rap over. So I was rapping over Too Short's Freaky Tales consistently. Me and my partner Reggie and my DJ Mike Bennett at the time, he had Mike had the Freaky Tales instrumental and he had the Freaky Tales on the other side by Too Short. And we had another instrumental, maybe something from Houdini. Anyway, in those two instrumentals, we would just put several songs over. We didn't have a lot of instruments. You remember you had to turn the record over for the instrument on the side back in the day.
Yep.
That's what we did. To answer your question, I learned to write without music because I didn't have music to write to down there, and I didn't like to write over someone else rapping. I couldn't take a LL Cool J on pad and listen to it and write while he's rapping. That's not. If it was straight instrumental, I probably could have, but I seen people that could do that. I just never. It's too clangy. It's too cluttery in my mind, and I can't really work like that. But so I just started writing acapella. All of my songs are written. All of my earliest songs are written acapella. So when I got to the city and got with producers and got in studios, and I started working with other artists that were from the DFW, Chris, I'm sitting there and they're like, okay, that's right. We have a writing session, and they would put a beat on and they would start writing to. I'm like, wow, what are y'all doing? Y'all are writing to this beat? Oh, cool. I never done it before. I'm like, okay. And when I did it, it was so freaking simple to me. I'm like, this is crazy, man.
Yeah.
What's on TV? You know what I mean? I can do whatever.
That's great.
I can just, this is what y'all doing. All right, y'all have the luxury of having a beat and it's on loop. You don't have to start the tape over. You can loop it and it plays it. Oh man, I spit out an album a day like that. But what I found out was my lyrics weren't as deep and thought out as I liked them when I wrote to a beat. Because when I wrote in silence, it was just blocking out everything. I'm dealing with words. I'm dealing with definitions of words, similes, metaphors. I have a dungeon in my mind. Nothing inside of but my words, and I form them exactly like I formed them, and I want them exactly like I want them, and then I present it out of the darkness onto a piece of music. But it's all I was always presenting polished lyrics to music. On my first album, I didn't write anything in the studio. I just went there and picked out beats with tight out production. Next one, next one. I couldn't believe it because I didn't have a notebook in the booth with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have that many songs in your head, dude. They'd
Wow.
be like, yeah, you know how big his head is, right? I'm like, yeah. But I had, you know what I mean? It was like a machine gun. It was so free to me, man, because I had so many songs remembered. You know,
So let me ask
still
you
do.
this: writing to silence. Do you think that was a product of those early times in middle school when you're just hanging out before class? Like you don't have music then, right?
Definitely.
So that's kind of the way you came up in it.
They were beatboxing then, though.
Okay.
When we did get someone was beatboxing, you know, someone off to the side.
Right.
I'm like, okay, so that was our. We kept some beats back then, if you want to look at a beat for that purpose, reason. But when I didn't have a beatboxer, when I was at home out on a country farm in the market road, and you hear anything but a wolf at night, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean, or fireflies or a whippoorwill, and you had nobody to beatbox for you, and my wheels are still turning. I had to write. I had to find
Wow.
my way. I had to because the music never stops coming. That's one thing that I've noticed since I was 13 or 14 up until this interview right here with you. The music never stops coming to my head for whatever reason. So people ask me, "Are you through rapping?" I'm like, I don't think I'll ever be through writing music. Yeah, I twist that up. They asked me, was I through rapping? I said, I don't think I'll be ever finished writing music. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I answer that question because
Right.
the music is still coming. What am I going to do with it if it's continuing to come? So yeah, writing in silence definitely benefited me in a way that a lot of artists didn't get to build with their own lyrical catalog like that.
Well, let me ask you this, man. When you're writing verses, how do you come up with your rhyme schemes?
I come up with it as I go. I come up with it as I go. It's really crazy, man. There's no way to even take you through that method without actually you sitting with me and going through that method. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's so free for me. You know, there might be a situation where I can, you know, rhyme bar for bar, bar for bar. Like I was just finishing a jingle this morning for a guy, and I was laughing at some of the rhyme schemes that I put in and how they came to me. But I go bar for bar for bar for bar. Then you might run across a word that says uh pine, and you might have 8 words around with it. And like, I feel tough today. Let me try something with this. Pine all the time, great wine. And you just take that pine and run it for like a 6 bars. You know what I mean? So it's just that purpose for me. When I feel like writing a song straight through, I do it. When I feel like writing a song, putting a little razzle dazzle in there to let them
Mm-hmm.
know that I still, you know, switch this thing up. I do that too.
Um, I had one here that I wanted to talk to you about that would fit really good here.
Okay.
So, all right. So I have heard. I'm trying to think of. Let me see here. All right. So as a listener, for me, many times in rap and hip hop, the content can be a little shallow. For me as a listener, and so
I agree.
how important is it to you that you're sharing a message through your art that matters to other people, not just yourself?
It's very important, man. It's very important that you are conscious of the footprint you're leaving because this music isn't going anywhere. You know, I remember on one of my earlier songs, like you know, when I was a very, 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 very young rapper, 21, 22ish type of young, um, I heard my niece run through the house singing a part of that song that I wrote. I didn't particularly like to hear those words coming out of her mouth,
Mm,
and that really made me like, hmm. They listened.
Yep.
That a light bulb came on. Like, you know
That's
what?
a big
Maybe
lesson,
more.
man. That's a big lesson.
It was a tough one too, man. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that sound. So I became a little bit more less profanity filled rapper. Because when you come in the future and come up on the NWA, you come listen to Easy E. You know what that music consisted of? The Ghetto Boys, Ace. You know what that music consisted of. So I thought you had to sound a certain way. You had to sound like this or rap like this to do what they're doing. And no, you really don't. You have to just be you. Tell your story the way you want to tell your story. So I uh, I think it's very important to know that people are listening to what you say, and at any point in time they can play it back for you.
Hmm. And more
Or set it
importantly,
up.
you don't know who is listening either. There's always
That part.
somebody listening that you have no idea. Kind of reminds
Yeah.
me of the story of Dionne Warwick inviting Snoop and a bunch of the other rappers from those days over to her house and saying, "Y'all need to stop with all this stuff because." You're gonna have daughters someday and all that. I don't know if you've heard that story, but
I
man,
think I have.
man, Dion gave it to him. Now she gave it to him.
Yeah, bottle of that.
Yeah,
Can I cuss him?
absolutely, of course. Yeah, please.
I can turn my cussing up. I can go
You
harder.
can, yeah, you can say whatever you want, man.
It's okay. Yeah,
So,
Dion, I want to say this. Dion is like everybody's great auntie in the music game. So
yeah,
I don't know if they look for him to listen, but I think they probably toned it down a little bit because some of it was unnecessary.
I
You
don't know
know.
what documentary it was, man, but yeah, man, they were interviewing her, and she was like, "Man, I wasn't having it, so I had them over to my house," and I was like, "Yo, for real?" Just like, yo,
Yeah,
you
be conscious
just
of what
like
you're saying.
summoned them, right? Like just summoned them to the house, you know?
If Dion sends for you, you gotta go.
That's
You
right.
gotta go.
That's
You gotta
right.
listen. Even if you don't do it, even if you don't comply, you still listen while she's talking. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Yep. So I want to talk a little bit about ghostwriting because ghostwriting is pretty controversial across the genre, and you are a fairly well-known ghostwriter from the area. I'd love to hear
Right.
what it is from your perspective, what the benefits are to ghostwriting, not just from the person who's doing the ghostwriting, but the person that or the artist that is also using the ghostwriting. What is the benefits for both sides?
Well, let's start with the person that's purchasing the song. The benefit for them is a great sounding record if they're dealing with me.
Hmm.
First and foremost. Second of all, you have a skill level that's going to be present that you know that you don't have, and you don't mind spending money for that skill level. So they're winning on that end. Great sounding song. I have somebody that's a master in the craft, a wordsmith that knows, words that I don't, whatever. How do you look at it? And it's giving me something great. I'm getting what I pay for. Okay, that's what they're with. And that's, of course, it's monetary. Being able to get paid for something that's, I say this without modesty, so effortlessly done for me. It's like, no, he gave me this much money. Yes, are you sure? But
Right.
I never said it. It's monetary for a ghostwriter. It's legendary for a ghostwriter, unless they have an NDA. You know, even if they do, it's still monetary for you. But it's just a transaction. That's all. Like any other transaction. We got this Ford, 1978 Mint Edition. I want to sell you, can get it. Boom. It's a transaction just like that. I got this hot record. Get it. Boom. And, you work out the fine details after that. So, and we win on both ends.
Right. And so um, I'm just trying to educate myself on the process. So basically, you write the song, you sell the song for essentially a flat rate. And then are you essentially, as the writer, are you signing away your mechanical royalties to that song by accepting the flat rate? Is that how it works?
Well, you got a lot of moving parts in there. An
Yeah.
agreement can be structured any way you want. So let's just say, for instance, if you write a song, hypothetically speaking, I write a song for somebody and they want to give me a flat rate for it because they don't want, like I said, they don't want an NDA or they don't want me getting credit for it in the future. They want to buy the song for them. You're going to have a bigger price at that point in time
Right.
as opposed to take, X amount of dollars. I'll take 15. to $20,000 and still maintain some of the publishing royalties on the mechanical rights to it like that. Like I said, it's however they want to structure the deal. I've never entered into a deal that I had to turn down or walk away from because it's all about negotiation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to look at your career. I'm going to look at who you are, and I'm going to base if I think that this is going to get pushed that far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many moving parts that come into when you're dealing with an artist. And if I was writing one for Justin Bieber, of course I'm not going to take a flat rate.
Right.
Of course I want to take a lower upfront amount. Give me a lower upfront amount, but I want all my back end. Everybody's song period, I want to get paid for it. So keep me in the loop like that. Keep me
But
in the loop with as far as
isn't the risk that someone turns into Justin Bieber from one of your songs that you accepted a flat rate for?
if you want to call it a risk, I have an apple tree in my backyard. I just went and picked the apple off of it and gave
I
it to him,
love it.
basically.
I love it. Yeah. I
You
love
feel
that.
for the apple?
Yeah.
I'll have more apples. So it's really a win-win situation. I understand what you're saying. Like, I wrote that song. Nobody's ever going to get to know that I wrote it.
Right.
Type of situation,
Yep.
But when you got the commas in your bank account, it's like, okay, I deal with that. I deal with that.
Yeah,
I bite that bullet.
the commas is more important than the recognition. Just
Yeah, if you're in that position, yeah. If you're in a position of needing the commas, yeah.
yeah,
they,
I feel you. So we talked a little bit about content in rap and hip hop. I would love to hear from your perspective. Do you feel like modern hip hop and rap is lacking in subject matter in songs? And if so, how do you feel that artists can do a better job? Because a lot of this stuff just doesn't resonate with people. I feel, and it's a lot of it is criminal this and G that and all that, but yet your music, why I love your music is because you talk about things that matter to me, even though you and I can't be more different. You're a person of color, I'm white. You know what I'm saying? But your stuff resonates to me big time. But a lot of rap and hip hop doesn't. How can artists change that for a listener like me?
Well, I was looking at an interview from Andre 3000 4 or 5 days ago, one of the clips that they show, and he worded it better than I could ever. I think that dude said when we were getting into the game, there was a process. We didn't go through we didn't we went through a process of trying to get on. Like if I started in '95 and didn't get on until '99 or early 2000, there's like 6 years of cultivating my craft in there that I get to do before I get presented to the public. You know, and with the you know oversaturation of the recording tools that we have today, watches and laptops. And one kid was recording in his car one day, and it sounded good.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can record anywhere now. So there is no building stage. I mean, they go in there and make a song right now and press send, and it's all over the internet right now. It's everywhere in a form of rapper that you. So you don't have that incubation that another artist might have 6 years in the struggle trying to get on to get their music out there while rapping the whole way, while singing the whole way, while writing the whole way, whatever. You cultivating that talent along the way. So when you do get in front of that spotlight, you're not even the same artist that you were when you started 6 years ago. That growing stage is not allowed right now. You're taking kids that are just pressing send on whatever bullshit they decide to write and record, and it's putting out there. And another thing, the producers right now, for the majority, the producers I think have a lot of the artists on their back, right? Meaning a lot of these records are selling because they're beat driven. The beat
Yeah.
is dope. The music is dope. They have the artists on their back right now. A lot of the artists aren't doing their part right now. 50-50 venture to make sure this song is a hot record. It's a producer's game. So you get a hot beat and you just think you can say whatever over it. And pardon my French, and the dumb are really intrigued by it because the beat is jammed. I don't know if you ever listened to Public Enemy of X Clan, but they had a song where a quote that he said, "The dumb are mostly intrigued by the song." You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
the music is like the only thing that people are really check it out, if they could ever stop and be like, hold on, you know what this fool said? What is this I'm listening to? You're not listening at all. That's the problem. You're grooving to a beat right now. You have a decent chorus that you're grooving to, and you're grooving to a beat right now. So there are um, a lot of ways that I think they can get better. And that's by not releasing the very first thing that you write and
Does
put
that
it out
happen a
there.
lot for you as a listener? That incredulousness when you listen to something and maybe it's uber successful, and you're just like, "What? How did that happen with that?"
Almost every day, almost every single day, I hear something. I'm like, I am astounded. I am astounded that this is this popular. And I don't even blame the artist. I blame the consumer.
Absolutely.
I think it's always the consumer's fault that bullshit is heralded or placed on a pedestal. You know, like what in the world are you? I mean, but I try not to be a hater because it's a very thin line right there between you saying this is not good and someone saying you just hate.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Exactly.
why I talk music. I talk music with very few people.
I mean, you can celebrate someone's success without understanding why they're successful or how they got successful with
True,
what,
too. You right on that.
you know what I mean? I feel like I do that a lot because there's a whole lot of bullshit and a lot of different genres that I'm just like, man, why are we allowing this to be successful? Like, it just blows my mind. Um, so let's change gears a little bit. So you've been known as Big B and Mr. Rain and Salazar Skurlock. Is there a strategy in releasing music under different pseudonyms? And if so, what is it? What's in your mind when it comes to that?
Um, it's not that complex. It's just different pseudonyms that I like. You know, I was working on an album with two good friends back in the day. Shout out Gabe and shout out Mr. Quickness. We had a group called the Bounty Hunters, and the idea behind the group was we were all going to take on outlaw names. We were all going to take on different personas than our regular names. You know, real life outlaws. You know, so one of my partners snatched up Billy the Kid. Uh, my other partner snatched up Doc Holliday. And I was like, oh man, y'all got the two most popular
They got the good
outlaws.
ones.
Yeah, I got the good one. They left me with hardly nothing. You know, I was like, wow, what can I come up with? So I did my research. I started studying Billy the Kid. I started studying the game. Started studying Doc Holliday. A lot of people. And I read across this guy. His name was something Salazar. I forget his entire name. And he helped them with horses and stuff along the way when they were the station. Thanks. And then I kept reading another guy, Johnson Spurlock. He was an immigrant that reportedly helped them do something that they never really speak a lot. So I took Juan Salazar and Bronson Spurlock and merged them together and made a super outlaw, Salazar Spurlock. And he was born right there, you know. So actually, that's a name from two different outlaws that I merged together and just made. And people liked it, you know.
The
One
name
lady,
flows, man. It definitely flows.
well, yeah, a lot of people mess the pronunciation of it up. But a lot of people think that I just use that on my social media platform, and that's really I've been calling that probably over 20 years. You know, before social media. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Some people call me SS, you know, but one lady told me that sounds like somebody from Harry Potter. It's a very interesting name. I'm like, what, man?
I think
I'm like,
maybe
okay,
I could see that with the alliteration, the double S. Yeah, I can definitely feel that. Yeah.
yeah, okay. I didn't really watch it. I haven't really watched it. Mm.
So my favorite record of yours came from that pseudonym, and that's Park Legend. Um,
Um,
man, I love those songs, man. I play them on I used to play them on my stream all the time, but the record's not available on YouTube anymore. I don't know what happened, but
I'm going through sampling issues, but it's supposed to work out. So it'll be back up and being able to stream. Hopefully within a couple months, it'll be back up.
okay, good
That's
because
my.
those songs are dope as fuck, man. I love that record. Tell me about the process for that. Was that I mean, because it's the only Salazar Skurlock project that I have found personally. Is there others? And
That's the only one. That's the first and the only one right there. There
yeah, I
might be
thought
others,
so.
but yeah, that's my very first one. And Park Legend, I mean, we all know that one guy. Pull up at the store or wherever you see him coming out, one can of beer, natural light. in that little brown bag and getting into a 1971 Lincoln, and the hubcap is off of it and it's smoking when he leaves. He looks like he's just not having a good time. And someone pushes him aside and says, I know he looks like that right now, but believe it or not, that dude right there used to be that.
Mm-hmm.
Or this guy used to be woo, 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 woo. This person right here. I mean, he's that person that used to watch play at the park uh, in the summertime basketball. See all the shots, man. Offense had a crazy crossover. Was supposed to go somewhere in UNLV, but end up getting shot coming out of high school or doing something stupid, and their career never blossomed the way that it should blossom. So you see them around town on a forklift, maybe in a warehouse. But people that know that if that guy had got on, it wouldn't be no such and such. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a park legend. I kind of equated it to my career as far as hip hop. I feel like a park legend in hip hop. You know what I mean? To the point to where it's like anybody that knows music, that listens to lyrics, should be able to say that dude right there, man. I don't think you know how good he really is. I don't know if he knows how good he really is. And I say that when I hate bragging really anything like that, but that was the whole theme. I wanted to just really floss skills on that. I wanted to really show that this is a precision talent that I have. I really feel like a park legend, like Earl the Goat Manigault, Pee Wee Kirkwood, all those guys that played at the Ruffles that
Mm-hmm.
never made it to the NBA, you know what I mean? But to slam dunk over a Mack truck,
Man,
kick 40s
I
off
love
the
it. I
building.
love it because it's every person music to me, man. Like it takes me back to the '90s. It's the essence of what we were talking about earlier about subject matter and content from hip hop. And one of my favorite hip hop records ever, man, is from you. I love that record. So first of all, man, thank you for making it because I'm a huge fan of
Thank
it.
you, thank you
Um,
for liking it. I appreciate that a lot. I get a lot of feedback on the entire album, man. I love it. I love it. I love it.
it's really good,
I love
so good.
a listen. I love a person that listens to music. A lot of people hear music, but you have very few that actually listen to it, and you can
Well,
discuss it.
not just listen, man. You got to feel it too, right? Like you got to feel that music, man. Because like you
Got
as the
to.
artist, you're vulnerable. You're giving us everything you have, man. So, man, that's why I wanted to thank you straight up because before it got taken down, man, it was an everyday part of my playlist, bro. Every single
I
day.
got you, man.
Yeah.
I got you. I'm about to get you some hard copies of that too.
Yeah,
I have.
please, dude. I would, man. I'd show that all over the place. Hell, I love. Yeah. So, let's switch gears once again. I think I read an interview that you did. I think with Voyages a few years back, out of Dallas, and you have endured a lot of loss in your life, a lot of tragedy, and that unfortunately is definitely an unfortunate part of hip hop and rap. Sadly, but what keeps you keeping on, man? Like staying in the game, staying humble, staying positive. How do you do that, man? Because I follow you on social media. I see your life through that snapshot that you give us every day.
Right, right.
Such a kind and positive human being. So I need to know how you wake up like that every single day after everything you've been through, man.
Man, that's such a great question right there, Chris. I owe it all to my high power. I have an unshakable faith in my God. And I credit Him with getting me up every day and getting me through each day and sustaining me in every way and looking out for me in every way that I can look out for myself. So that's who I credit it to. Because yeah, it's been this old ship has been slammed up against a rock a lot of times. You know what I mean? A lot of holes, a lot of ways to get past stuff. But long story short, it's God. It's not even me. I give him the credit. I give him the credit. I've survived some things that most people would have given up behind or went crazy while going through. So it's got to be God.
Yeah. Just keep doing it, man. You're inspiring people out there, bro. For real.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I don't. Sometimes I don't know. It's hard to tell. You know, you can. It's just if you are a house, you never really know what the outside of your house looks like if you are the house. it takes somebody walking down the street to be able to stop and look at the house. Like, you know what? You need shutters right here. The
Mm.
paint's peeling out here. This yard needs mowing. Look like you can use a couple of shingles on top. Excuse me. So I say that to say this. From this side, it's hard to gauge acceptance or like or if you are even making an impact on anybody, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Man,
It never truly goes.
it's very difficult to see outside of yourself, man. It really
It
is.
is.
Truly.
It really is. And people don't think about that. No. I don't think people are. So I guess people are placed in a position where they have to think about it as much as I do. Maybe I'm not sure, but I think it would benefit everybody to look a little deeper into the seed. Because one of the worst things I think a person can say is, "I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks about me." That's a very wild phrase. I hear it multiple times a day, across social media, in person, in passing people. I hear. I mean, like, what is going? Why don't you?
Man,
What, you don't think nobody thinks?
shoot, just by saying that, you are admitting that you care what people think about you. Like, just the fact that you are thinking in those terms
Exactly.
proves proves the opposite of that, man. Like, yeah.
What are you talking about? It's a,
Let's put it this way, man. If we didn't care what other people thought about us, we would not put clothes on when we wake up in the morning.
that's true too.
Period.
That's true too. Self-reflection is big. I don't think a lot of people do enough. You know, you got to do inventory of yourself every day, man. You have to see,
Absolutely.
did I say that? Did I say that? Because you know, a lot of people are so smart that they're dumb. You know, and I heard a phrase a long time ago, like knowledge is power, and people don't really understand it. Knowledge is power, but that's a two-part statement. Knowledge is power, of course it is.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge is knowing what to say, but wisdom is knowing whether to say it or not,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what people don't have enough of. You have a
That's
lot of
right.
people with knowledge. You have knowledge, okay? You have knowledge, it's available, but do you have wisdom? You know what I mean? Knowledge is knowing what to say, but wisdom is knowing whether to say it or not, and that's the error that I found.
And not only that, but knowledge can come from anywhere and anyone, and it doesn't have to be truthful. Wisdom is knowing what is true and what isn't, and
Thank you.
and then knowing whether to continue to grab knowledge from that source after that point.
Exactly. Do you get it? Exactly.
Yep.
Wisdom is what you want.
Yep.
Wisdom is literally what you want. Knowledge is fine. Because I've seen old men that didn't graduate no more than like my old man, my dad, God rest his soul. I think he went to the sixth grade.
Mm-hmm.
Tops. You know what I mean? It was tough back then. They had to drop out. They had to work. They had to do things that I've never had to do. And a lot of those men and women that are from the 40s and 30s and 20s and things like that don't have a lot of knowledge. But the wisdom pool is so incredibly deep with them if you sit down and talk with them.
Mm-hmm.
They can tell you things that you can't find in a book. You know what I mean? They can tell you things that living will only teach me that. No,
Yeah,
exactly.
they experienced more life than we do, man. That's just the way it is,
Exactly.
bro. Yeah, I
I
mean
love
that's
that,
just
man.
yep.
I love that.
The struggles weren't the same, right? Like the struggles today are not the same as our folks went through back in the day. That's for damn sure.
You ain't lying about that, bro. And I love wisdom. I always have loved to stop and listen to people talk. I listen to people talk, and I never like people talking over my head. If I was when I was young and I was in a conversation with someone, or I was in a group conversation, the minute someone said a word or definition that I didn't know what they meant, it made me feel small. It made me feel away. And
Mm-hmm.
so as soon as that conversation was over, I head straight to a dictionary
That's right.
every time.
Yep.
It's not gonna happen like that.
Man, my wife is a writer, and man, I've read so many freaking books in my day. I was an only child, so that was my social life growing up. Man, I would read a book, right? So, but I would read a word, and if I didn't know how to pronounce it, I would just pronounce it the way my brain read the word. So as an adult, now I'm married to a writer. God help me, right? So a lot of these words that I created my own pronunciations for are not correct. So now when I say them out loud, my wife will say, "No, it's not pronounced that way. It's pronounced this way." And I'm like, "No, it's pronounced the way I read it when I was 4 years old or 8 years old. Do not change my pronunciation." Yeah.
You never heard it pronounced that right way until you met her.
No, because like I said, I'm an only child, and all the
In
times,
school, then. Not even in school. You never
not
heard of
really,
pronunciation?
no, because we didn't really read novels and things like that in school. So we're doing textbook stuff, right? So like if I hear like a word that comes from the Old English or something like that, from a Charles Dickens novel or something, I have no idea how to pronounce it. I'm just reading it. So
I see
you
what you're
know what I
saying.
mean? So nowadays, like
Yeah.
I read audiobooks sometimes for people. Like I'll actually,
Let me get
yeah,
involved with
but like I'll play a recording back for my wife and she'll pick it apart. She'll be like, "No, that's not how you say that. That's go back and redo that." You know what I mean?
Thank
Like,
God for her.
yeah,
Thank God for her.
yep. But it's eye opening, man. Especially those old ass English words from like the 14th and 15th century, man. It's crazy, man. We got off track. It's all good though. Listen,
Love it.
I want to hear. Let's go kind of reflect a little bit, right? So I'm gonna say this. I know you're extremely humble, but I think you are one of the most iconic figures in East Texas rap history. That's me saying that. That's not you. I understand that. From your perspective, I would like to hear from you who you think is on your Mount Rushmore of rappers, not just locally, but of all the people that have ever rapped and been a hip hop artist. Who are your top four?
Woo! I only can pick four, right?
Four. That's all that's on Mount Rushmore, so that's all you get. No honorable mentions either, man.
Okay, I gotta go Ice Cube. I have to
Okay?
go Tupac. Ice Cube, Tupac. I gotta put Andre 3000 on there. And you giving me one more spot.
Yep. That's it.
I gotta go with Nas.
Let's go.
I gotta go with
Man.
Nas.
So we got Ice Cube, Tupac, Andre 3000, and Nas.
Yeah.
Man,
If I can only pick four.
that's it. That's all you get is four.
Man, you
Any
killing me here.
regrets? Any regrets?
But yeah, I regret not having more faces I could put up there.
All right, I got a couple
Yeah,
more
yeah, yeah, yeah.
questions. I got a couple more questions for you. This is also going to be a reflection kind of question. If you could work with anybody, not only as a hip hop artist or a rapper, a songwriter, a producer, which you've done a lot of production work in your time as well, from all of those different roles, if you could work with any artist, dead or alive, musically, who would it be, and why?
Oh, wait. That's another tough one.
It is absolutely.
Mm. Any artist, they don't allow to work. We say work, what do you mean on a song, album, or
However you look at it, man, you have all of those different hats that you wear. So, like, if you would prefer to produce, say, a Tupac album rather than collaborate on a song with, I don't know, Elvis, whatever. I don't know where the hell the Elvis came from, but whatever.
my mama loved him, man. I think I would like to write for Whitney in her heyday.
Ooh. So
Yeah.
you're going to go songwriting for Whitney Houston.
I'm thinking Ching Ching now. Now that I've gotten older, I see where the money is.
It's
You see
about the
what I mean?
commas, man. It's about the
It's about the
commas.
money. I want to expand, every opportunity that I got to make as much as I can off the craft that I have here to leave something, or not only a legacy, but to, break generational poverty. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
turn this thing around. So I would say Whitney in her heyday. Remember when I wanted to dance with somebody?
Mm-hmm.
I was always love you, the Dolly Parton. In her heyday, I think as a female, she was just as big as Michael Jackson as a male. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And
Absolutely.
her voice will never be, in my opinion, tight by any
She
means.
was she was bank, man. She was the golden goose. She turned everything gold.
Yeah, we'll never see them. I think working with her would be a surefire way to get the best promotion for your song, the best marketing for your record, the best reach, the best everything that has to offer. You'll get that working with
The great
her.
thing
And it'll
about
be,
that, go ahead.
I was just saying, and it'll be stress free because hip hop can get dangerous sometimes.
Yeah. The great thing about that question is it always shows who you are. You view yourself as a songwriter first.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to come to that conclusion too, Chris. I'm glad you peeped that out. You're a very astute interviewer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I always called myself a rapper for so many years and so many years. And only about 7, 8, 9 years ago, I started to look at the game from a different angle. I'm like, you know what? I'm not a rapper. I'm a writer that knows. You know what I mean? I'm a
Yep.
songwriter that actually. Oh, I'm an author. I'm a painter. I was pigeonholing myself by telling people or introducing myself as a because I'm so much more than that. So yeah, I would definitely pride myself as a songwriter first and foremost. And that's good you noticed that. First and foremost, I'm a songwriter. I saw maybe Neo, maybe I don't know if it was Neo or some other songwriter, but I know Babyface has done it too. When you look at the R&B charts or the hip hop charts, or whatever, you can only have one song on it for an artist. But a songwriter once I saw had 5 entries on the charts that he had written on.
Yeah.
And I was like, so even if you're not number one, you wrote number 4, you wrote number 9, you wrote number 3, you wrote number 7. Come on, man. Your reach is so much farther as a writer. The
Mm-hmm.
impact is so much greater as a
And
writer.
the reason why I do this is because of the songwriter. The songwriter is so unheralded in music.
It is.
So
It is,
unheralded.
man.
Now,
It is, man.
not every songwriter is Taylor Swift, right? Like she writes her stuff, she performs it, she does all of that.
I should have worked with her.
Oh
I
man,
forgot it.
dude, don't get me. I'm a Swiftie. I'll admit it, man. I'm a Swiftie. I love me some Taylor Swift. Yeah, man. She's just an incredible writer. She gets so much hate.
She's an incredible writer. That would be my second choice, probably, to work with as a writer, Taylor, because once again, you're about to get the best of everything in
Yeah,
every outlet.
and you have daughters too, right?
I do got two.
Man, is she not the biggest model for our daughters going today?
Well, honestly, my dad listen to- now they know some songs, but I'd be lying if I said her impact. It's really not, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm just saying from the
every
standpoint of empowering our girls and our women, man.
yeah, from that point of view, yeah, definitely. A woman can do it. She's definitely that. I'll give her
Yeah.
credit for that. She's a role model for doing it myself, and she's a billionaire now, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. Shoot, she's giving away more money than most people will ever see, man. You know what I mean? Giving it away, just feeding people all over the world. It's crazy.
She was here actually, probably about 6 months ago, at Cowboy Stadium doing a concert. It was a 2 days in. And I think she donated almost $2 million to every food pantry from Marks
Mm-hmm.
area to Pantego to Oak Cliff to
Yep.
anywhere you name. She blessed every food pantry in the entire DFW. Now I've never heard of an artist coming to town and doing that before.
Because it doesn't
That kind of
happen. It does not happen.
she stopped every food pantry in the surrounding area when she was
Mm-hmm.
here.
I do
You
another
know?
podcast with a friend of mine, and it's more of a kind of a weekly news and like wacky kind of stuff too. But we talk about obscure stuff and funny stuff and all that, and we really kind of track what Taylor does worldwide. And she just did a series of concerts in the UK, and she donated enough food to feed the people at this one shelter for 2.5 years. Two and a
Wow.
half years of food for this place, and they
Those are
were
things that matter.
that's crazy to me, man. And they were like 3 weeks from running out of food when she sent that donation to them. So just
Those are the things that matter. Those are the things that get my respect for you right
and
there.
it hurts me so much to see her attacked all the time, man. Because like she
Why are they
is
attacking her? Why are they
politics,
attacking her?
bro. Politics.
Oh well, politics is gone. That's another story.
Yeah, it is it's definitely another story. So I got one more question for you. This might be the hardest one of the interview. It typically is for somebody who is humble. And it is simply, who do you think you are? Who is Brian Rogers?
Ooh, boy, hit him with the government name. Okay,
I got you.
get your work, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I'm an artist. Well, I'm an artist. My father, my husband, and my brother, my uncle. Um, I'm a man of God. I'm just a humble individual. I'm a person that has had to learn the hard way about several things. Uh, Trial and error, fire tested, um, battle scarred up, good person, if you ask me. That's who I am. But
From the outside looking in, I'd love to add trailblazer, pioneer, park legend.
thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
I accept those. Thank you so much for that. It's hard for me to toot my own horn, man. And people tell me all the time I'm modest, a little too modest sometimes. But is that even a thing? If you keep creating,
It's
if you
hard.
my thing is, if you're creating, I think you can be modest when you're asked about things, because the thing that you create is what you should show your braggadocious side. Your work should speak very loud for you. So I never really had to do a whole lot of bragging conversation. I can just put a record on, and after they hear a record, they're talking to me totally different than they were before they heard the record.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I've done that with several people that didn't really know what I do or how to do it, and were talking to me a certain way, not a disrespectful way or anything, but were talking to me a certain way. And then after they hear what I do or hear a couple of songs when I did, when they come back to me, they're talking to me in a whole different way. Their questions are slower. The pauses are longer in between. It's like, okay, I'm dealing with a mind right now in front of me, so I have to like approach it differently than I approached it earlier. When really the same person you were dealing with before that, you just didn't know it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But yeah, you are dealing with a mind. I think I'm kind of funny too. A lot of people don't know that. It's
I
not because
think,
I think that
man,
might not necessarily be true.
I think it's hard to keep that balance between modesty and accepting your flowers, so to speak. Like
It is. Man. It really is.
it's difficult to be modest and own what you deserve to own as well. But
It really is.
it's important for your mental health that you do know when to own it, though. You know what I mean?
I heard that too, man. I heard that too, and I'm really a big advocate for mental health. It's easy for the butter to slide off the biscuit.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? In the world that we live in, a lot of times I have to slow myself down and really center myself and meditate and do some box breathing and things of that nature, just to kind of maneuver through certain situations throughout my day. So mental health is very real, and I need to look into accepting my flowers a little bit more loudly. I guess that's what you're telling me, huh? I
Yeah,
need to be like, give me the flowers, yeah,
absolutely, dude. Snatch them, motherfuckers, man.
yeah. I might need to look into that, man. I might need to look into. I probably won't, just between me and you, but
Probably
I
not.
need to.
I'm not
Yeah,
good
I
at it
agree.
either, bro. I'm not good at it either.
No, not at all, man. I mean, you'll check my catalog out, and it'll brag to you. You know what I mean?
B,
You
thank you
get
for
tired of
so
me.
much for doing this with me, man. I appreciate you
Man,
big time.
I appreciate you, brother, for real. I enjoyed this, man. It's why this so short. This is the first part. We're gonna do like three parts of this,
Dude,
or what?
here's what I say, man. Let's do this in person. Let's do a part 2 in person.
Okay, I'm with that. I like that.
All
I
right,
like that.
we'll set it up, bro.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch.
All right, Chris. Enjoy your day.
You too, man. You stay safe, and thanks again, man. Stay humble.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tiara Pennington, and thank you so much for tuning in to 10 Minutes with Boston Chris.